Wait, what about Boxy Boo?
Yup, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. Well, it all started when I decided to play Project Playtime for the Nintendo PC. Mob Entertainment is an indie horror game company spearheaded by the kids Minecraft animation channel Enchanted Mob and their subdivision Zamination. Their flagship game Poppy Playtime is your standard kids horror game fare and is also responsible for the birth of the Antichrist. Project Playtime is the spin-off of Poppy Playtime, taking its characters and mixing it around into some bastardization of Dead by Daylight, which in all honesty is more fun. But before we go into the actual game, we have to look at the release date. 10 days before the game came out, a countdown was posted on Twitter. The release was set for Tuesday, December 6, 2022. Honestly, I was kind of excited about it. Despite Poppy Playtime's many problems, the grab pack was always a highlight for me. In a multiplayer game like Dead by Daylight with this grab mechanic, it seemed like a neat concept. So December 6 rolls around and nothing. Steam page, nothing. Twitter, nothing. YouTube, nothing. Radio silence. And then Mob Games announces a delay for bug fixes. People falling through the floor, mechanics outright not working, some people flat out not being able to play the game. Sure, released in early access, but holy shit is this a mess. Every round you'd experience at least one glitch. Sometimes you won't even be able to join a round, but that's besides the point. You join as either the killer or one of 6 survivors, complete the puzzle pillars, get sent to the gulag, finish a toy, go back on the train, round ends. It's a quick gameplay loop and was super biased towards survivors. As long as you had at least one person who knows what you're doing, you will win. It's that simple. The game by itself was fine, but unless you had a borderline NASA supercomputer, you'd experience lag and glitches. Which, you know, is okay, but some of these glitches were really bad and broke the entire game. I know it was in early access, but that's not an excuse for a broken game. And for a year, this was my sentiment on the game. A large part of this script was actually for my video production midterm, and I was planning on making a video about this game, but for some reason I just didn't. So I stopped playing the game, big deal. But then I remembered it existed, and also that the game had been getting updates and is on its second phase, whatever that means. So I decided, hey, I haven't touched this game in a while, why not play it again? And maybe get some views out of it here. Chapter 1. The game is fun. The juxtaposition between release and now is honestly incredible to witness firsthand. The original game was awful to play, but now it's genuinely fun. Everything that I despised was fixed or changed to something better, even the things I liked were improved upon. For starters, you can actually play the game now. If that's a good or bad thing is up for you to decide, but it's definitely something that needed to be fixed. Every mechanic that was broken was fixed, most if not all game-breaking bugs were fixed, and now you can't fall through the floor. The puzzle pillars were improved upon, and now there are more than 3 puzzles to solve. The piano puzzle is more or less Simon Says, a note is played and you repeat it. The reflex puzzle is completed by using your grab pack to click one of many sockets that glow. These sockets will only glow for 1 to 2 seconds, and with your reflexes, you must hit them without failing. The memory puzzle makes you click a series of buttons on a large grid. After multiple random generated codes flash, a final code will appear 3 different times. The code will later disappear and you must memorize the puzzle before it, disappears. After doing this twice, the puzzle will be completed. The maze puzzle is akin to one of those ball and maze games. You have to turn 2 different mazes around to get a marble from A to B. Also, sometimes it fucks up and does a 180. The claw puzzle is a claw machine and is the worst puzzle in the entire game. If you don't have a good connection, I recommend not even trying this puzzle. And then there's the puzzle. You complete the puzzle by turning the puzzle to complete the puzzle. The introduction of more things to do makes the game way less boring than it was. It's more engaging, it's the same game, just better and more. The HUD was revamped, having more of a style to it and making it feel cohesive with the plot of the game. It looks like art that would be in one of those old toy boxes. It's bright and vibrant. The hub has an entire new section to it where you can test out the different minigames and actions you may do. There's also great character art surrounding the station. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, I love it. Chapter 2. Natural Selection. What you will see next is an artist's rendition of an average Project Playtime match.
Okay guys, these eggs have given us a lot of trouble in the past. Does anybody need anything off this guy, or can we bypass him?
I think Leroy needs something from this guy.
Everyone knows a Leroy, someone that is so mind-numbingly stupid to the point it screws everyone else over. In Project Playtime, there are more Leroys than you can count. Be it they are children, be it they didn't pass grade school, whatever the reason may be, there is always a Leroy. There are 3 different kinds of Leroys and they are as follows. Number 1. Survivor. This type of Leroy is a survivor who cannot play the game for the life of them. They will fail at puzzle pillars, run directly into the monster, and if you try to save them, more often than not, they will instantly end up back on the ground. They take up space and it's always awful to play with them. Unless you are the monster, that is. If you ever find yourself in the same game as them, I'd suggest you don't help them. It'll hurt you more than it will help. Number 2. Monster. This type of Leroy is a monster who cannot play monster. Maybe they don't know what abilities their monster has. Maybe they don't know how to attack to begin with. They are always funny to witness. The only problem when facing these kinds of monsters is if you were expecting to have a challenging match that lasts longer than a few minutes, you will be left sad. I enjoy a little bit of chase on my multiplayer game, and when that chase is taken out, I want to get up and go AFK for the rest of the match. If you want easy tickets, stay in the match. If not, it's best to just leave. Number 3. Everyone. This type of Leroy is everyone on your team, everyone. Try to stall for time, they do nothing but hide instead of going for toys. They try the puzzles, they can't do them. They try to save people from the gulag, they die because they have no sense of direction. They get in a chase, they die 2 seconds in. You save them, they die immediately. These types of people will also leave if things don't go their way. They get downed, boom, they leave. People like this make me not want to play the game. So the game is good, but some players aren't. Big deal. Well, I did say it was a good game, but I didn't say it was without flaws. You know the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Some things in this game were already good, but were changed for the worse through updates. For starters, at launch, Boxy Boo was objectively the worst monster in the game, but after a few quick updates, Boxy became good and on the same level as the other two. But for some reason, I cannot fathom Mob Games made Huggy Wuggy more powerful than he already was. I mean, the man had alerts and an instant down. Why did they feel the need to give him insane range? I know he has long arms, but you didn't need to take it seriously. Mommy Longlegs, who was decent already, became the worst monster. Boxy is able to go across long distances and has a grapple. Mommy Longlegs has the long distance ability, but slower and no grapple. Don't really understand it, but I'm also not a game designer. The lag is still the same as it was on launch, but I think that's a me problem and not the game. The matchmaking was fixed, but most of the glitches involving joining matches weren't. It's like the gameplay aspects were fixed, give or take, but the technical aspects weren't even touched. I still like the game, and I think it's way better than launch, but it could have been better. Could have been more than it was. It is still being updated, and hopefully it gets better as time goes on, but I have a bad feeling about new updates. If it's like Phase 2, things that were already good are going to be ruined. It could have been great. Let's go! 7 fucking minutes, let's go!